just heard like sirens and stuff. People like just kind of running, everything chaotic.
Well, an alert sent out to students and the public about a possible gunman on the University of South Carolina campus less than 24 hours ago, now being called a swatting hoax. That's according to the University of South Carolina.
Now, swatting is the act of making a false emergency report to a public safety agency with the intention of provoking a large-scale response.
In a statement sent out this afternoon, the university says that campus police received 2 separate calls reporting an active shooter at Thomas Cooper Library within minutes of each other.
One was at 6:30, the other at 6:32. Both calls, according to the university, were made by an unknown man that had background noise that sounded like gunfire. Based on those calls, a Carolina alert message was sent out just 4 minutes after the first call at 6:34 saying active shooter on campus.
Another was sent at 6:37, which said active shooter at library, and then a third sent at 7:10, I should say, saying no evident, meaning no evidence of a shooter. And the last at 8:04, an hour and a half later, saying that they gave the all clear. Now, we want to be clear tonight. According to the university, a viral photo and video of a USC student holding an umbrella had no role in this incident, despite many social media posts alleging that he was the alleged shooter and that he had a gun. Absolutely false.
USC says that 2 students received minor injuries as they were leaving the library. Both, meanwhile, have been released from the hospital.
Our WIS team has been working around the clock to get answers asking about the proper protocol, the criteria, I should say, for reporting situations like this. Our Naomi Popa joins us live with questions our team has been working to answer. Naomi?
Well, Judy, Greg, understandably so, this has been a confusing and frustrating incident for not just those on campus, but the downtown Columbia area and even across the nation for parents and families trying to figure out what was going on late last night. Now, we've put together a few questions that we have for the university that we're still waiting to get a response back on. We compiled that list late last night after it was confirmed there was no active shooter at the Thomas Cooper Library, and we want to go over some of those questions with you. The first question we have is what made this threat credible enough for this scent of an alert to be sent to students and staff on campus claiming an active shooter rather than reports of a shooter. Now, students said they heard loud noises in the library when the university sent out their alert. And did that information play a factor in sending out the initial alert? And what were those noises? Who sends out the Carolina alert? And is there a list of criteria that needs to be met before an active shooter alert is sent out? As a reminder, that alert was sent out just 4 minutes after they received that call. And how many resources and agencies were deployed? And is there a cost to that? Now, 2 other universities had a similar situation last week, and another today, Iowa State University, where authorities said there was an active shooter on campus, and that was determined to be false. Reporting live here in Columbia, I'm Naomi Popa, WIS News 10.
Our team coverage continues tonight. WIS's Deric was on campus about 24 hours ago when that shelter-in-place order was still in place. Campus, obviously, as we saw from Naomi's live shot, looking very different tonight.
But students are still shaken up after those scary alerts.
Deric joins us live now outside of the library after speaking with students who were inside when that initial alert was sent. Deric, what did they share with you about those scary moments?
Well, you know, Judy, Greg, one of the things that came to them first and foremost was just that they were trying to get in contact with loved ones. The problem with that, though, was that the student I spoke with was a freshman and dropped his phone. But he said with his first year on campus, he didn't expect that it would start anything like this. Take a listen.
And we just started school last week, literally. And it kind of just feels like a violation of not only safety, but just like experiencing it in real time. I was just thinking about, I don't want to die.
Now, that was Corey Leathers, Jr. He's, again, a freshman here at USC. He was actually in the library studying on the 5th floor. He shared the pictures you're seeing on your screen right now with me after he and several other students were able to re-enter the library, gather their belongings that they had to leave behind as they ran for what they thought was a presumed threat inside. Now, you'll see people walking out with their hands up on your screen after law enforcement gave them the all clear to exit where they were hiding at various different parts of the campus. Now, Corey told me students and staff from inside the library actually ran outside of the front of the building to other buildings on campus to shelter in place. Now, Sheriff Leon Lott told me earlier that this is something that they have had happen in the county before, and they've had to adjust how they respond to it because swatting hoaxes have become a lot more prevalent. Take a listen.
Very serious, though. We experienced that 3 years ago at Blythewood High School where we got the same type calls. You know, we respond in full force, but unfortunately, in some places in the United States, people have died over this. And so we take it very seriously, but we also have to measure our response.
Now, you heard him say measure his response. We just got a message. The sheriff says in the last 6 months, they've been getting these calls at homes in the county, which has led them to send dispatchers through a more rigorous training and efforts to better respond to these calls. If they notice that it is a low volume of calls, for example, if they're only getting 2 calls saying that there is an active shooter, then they will respond with a little more of a caution as opposed to if they're getting volumes of calls. He says that's when they know that this is something that's much more serious, and they typically spring into action with more force. Now, we've obviously been following this, and we're going to have more updates as we receive more information. But for now, reporting live here in Columbia, I'm Deric Rush, WIS News 10.
All right, Deric, thank you very much. Of course, we will continue to follow this developing story as we work to get answers to all of those questions that Naomi shared. You can find our latest coverage on air, online on WISTV.com, and of course, news as it breaks to get your first alert about what's happening in our community by downloading the WIS app.